Hi, I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to FinextraTV. We're here at Sibos 2022 in Amsterdam. It's the end of day 3 and we're kindly joined to talk about innovation and a bit about the Sibos agenda. Nick Kerigan, Head of Innovation at Swift. Nick, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the FinextraTV.
Yep, it's really good to have you on and looking forward to talking a bit more about the Sibos conference in detail, because one of the really interesting topics that we've been talking a lot about in the studio but also on the floor is embracing new digital landscapes, and that's really where I want to begin. What's included under that umbrella, and why is it so important at Sibos this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're now back together at the first kind of in-person Sibos in several years, combining that with a digital experience, and that's really been an opportunity, I think, to acknowledge the speed and of digitization in our whole economy that's happened over that period. And so I think that means that that's kind of digital is now everywhere, and therefore we see that coming through in forms of digital money, in the forms of discussions we're having about digital currencies, digital assets too, in the form of tokenization of assets, and then it permeating also into the kind of the experience layer. So as we look sort of further out, there have been a lot of conversations going on about sort of Web3 and metaverse and all of those things that stretch further out there. So I think, you know, I've been of the view for a little bit of time that banking and payments is becoming inherently digital, and I think we're just seeing that becoming ever more deeply embedded in all of the topics that we're discovering and talking about at Sibos.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about tokenization and digital assets, CBDCs as well. But I first want to talk a bit about innovation more, because it is really at the heart of a lot of discussions, and also the sessions on stage. Through the event though, how are you promoting and encouraging innovation and transformation here at Sibos?
Yes, well, I'm incredibly proud that we had over 20 specifically innovation-focused sessions at Sibos. Innovation is appearing in all the different streams that you see at Sibos, from the sort of the big issue debates through to the industry sessions, and then through to also the Swift at Sibos sessions, where we're talking about obviously what Swift is doing. Alongside that, we've continued and really developed the program around Swift InnoTribe, which looks further out into the future and has some obviously very interestingly provocative discussions associated with it, as well as the Discover stage, where we bring our fintechs that are in the exhibition on stage to talk about what they're doing, as well as a number of kind of curated sessions on Discover, where we talk about some of the ways that innovation can be fueled by fintechs. And then we've also continued a number of things that people really like to see when they come to Sibos. So the perfect pitch final, where the fintechs come and pitch their solutions to a panel as well as the audience, as well as tomorrow I'm going to be on stage announcing the winners of the Swift Hackathon.
Oh, brilliant.
So the Swift Hackathon this year is all about digital assets. We've sort of stretched the boundaries of that to a sort of topic where nobody has the answer. Where we're talking about interoperability and traceability of ownership, but we've had an incredible response to that. So there are lots of ways in which innovation is woven into the fabric of the Sibos program. Yeah,
and there are a lot of open-end discussions, I think. There's some really new big topics, and it's exciting to hear further discussions around the advancement of tech, digital assets, CBDCs, tokenization, AI, I mean the list goes on, data as well. How are you seeing those areas really driving change within the banking space and the next iteration of banking?
Yes, I mean, I think what I really see here at Sibos at the moment is a real kind of acknowledgement of those disruptive trends that are happening in the industry, but also a desire to kind of work together and come up with solutions to them. So, for example, in the CBDC space, we recently announced the results of our groundbreaking CBDC experiment, which we're now testing with 15 central and commercial banks in a CBDC sandbox, and there was incredible interest in that in the CBDCs for International Payments session that I hosted earlier. In parallel, lots of interest in tokenized assets, Again, we'd recently announced the results of a collaborative experiment with Citi, Northern Trust, Clearstream and Settle, and lots of engagement around that in the sessions around tokenized assets yesterday. So alongside that, AI, there was a sort of record attendance at the Swift stand this morning. 370 people came to hear about the new AI platform that we're creating for the industry. So I think what you see, if I put all of that together, is the industry understands that we're in the midst of disruption, and is also looking at ways that it can come together, collaborate, and take full advantage and of those opportunities as they come through.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit more about collaboration. I want to hear a bit more about the collaborative innovation you're doing specifically at Swift. So tell me about some of those partnerships as well.
Yes, I mean, collaboration is really core to what we do in innovation at Swift.
Yeah.
And I think Swift is kind of uniquely positioned to pull together players in the industry to work on topics which are genuine industry challenges. Obviously, banks and fintechs and others will fiercely compete on those areas that they compete on, but they also look to Swift to solve once for the industry some of the things that are best solved together. So that's exactly what we aim to do. And while we do really like engaging in some of the new and exciting topics, we're also not shy of trying to tackle some industry challenges that have been around for a while. So to take one example, we have a sprint ongoing at the moment, working with a fintech called Symbiont around corporate actions in securities. I mean, that's been a known pain point for 20 years.
Of course.
But we think we've got, and working with a number of securities clients of Swift, we think we've got the potential to actually come up with a solution which makes the industry more efficient and takes away some of those pain points. So that's an exciting kind of space, and so I think what that all means really is that when we see a common challenge or indeed a potential common opportunity, what we seek to do is to bring together a group of like-minded clients, like-minded partners as well, and to come up with a solution to that, and then bring that into the market with them.
Sure, and they often come together, don't they? The challenges and the opportunities.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think one of the great things about Sibos and indeed the Swift community is that there's mutual respect there and recognition that many people have all this, have skills and knowledge to bring to bear. At Swift, to be honest, we're very humble about that. We have some extremely smart and experienced people, but we also know that harnessing the power of that community can be 100 times more powerful. And that's what you'll see as the hallmark of our innovation as we go forward.
Sure, and what a community you've created. But Nick, look, I'll let you get back out there. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and bringing us up to date as well with what Swift's doing in this space. And it's been a delight, thank you.
Pleasure to join you today, thank you.